What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now this one's going to be over a bank layout video for you level 3 skillers or any skiller out there who is just looking for a clean and organized bank. As a RuneScape player, unless you are an ultimate Iron Man, your bank is a crucial part to your account. And if you're anything like I am and have OCD when it comes to RuneScape, you definitely want to have your bank somewhat organized. And that's exactly what I have done for you guys. I have found some inspiration from other bank layouts as well as come up with some of my own ideas and put those ideas together. And that is exactly what I have done for you guys. I have created a pretty good referenced bank account for you guys so you guys can do whatever you want. Obviously, you're going to have your own preferences when it comes to a bank layout. Everybody does, and that's perfectly fine. Just take what I have created here. Hopefully you find something useful from this video and you can change whatever you like to it to make it better suit yourself. With that being said, guys, I really hope you do find this video helpful, and if you did, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. All your support is highly appreciated, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right on to the video. To start things off, I highly recommend you guys use the RuneLite client if you do not already, as this provides you some helpful tools and plugins for you to help organize your bank account a little bit better. Those plugins being the bank tags, and item identification. Now, pretty much the bank plugin just allows you to show the overall value or an estimate value of each one of your tabs, and it's just kind of a unique aspect to the bank, and it just makes it a little bit more clean. The only settings that I would highly recommend not utilizing in the bank plugin is the keyboard bank pin. Now this is just because it makes it a little bit easier for hackers to steal your bank pin if you are utilizing your keyboard. So I do not recommend using that one. However, everything else in the bank plugin is perfectly okay. Next up is the bank tags. Now this allows you to add customized bank tabs within the actual bank itself, separate from the already bank tabs that RuneScape provides you, and I'll be going a little bit more in detail in this later on in the video, but this is a very nice feature to add to your bank to keep it a little bit more organized and a lot more accessible to items. And then finally is the item identification. Now this is a pretty helpful one as well. If you've ever noticed that when you're in your bank and you have a lot of herbs or ores or something like that, it can be very hard to tell the difference between a few of the items if they look pretty similar between each other. What this does, it allows a text to go over the image so you can clearly see exactly what the actual item is without actually having to hover over it and look at it, and it definitely makes things a whole lot easier. Finally, you guys can see the bank layout that I have created for you guys. When you look up here on the tabs, I have all selected. This is where I like to keep my cash pile as well as my clue scrolls and anything else I feel like throwing in there, but I just find myself pulling out cash way too much, so I just like to put it in the all tab there. Moving on to the first tab, this is my skilling cape tab as well as my skilling outfit tab, and some of the main fashion scape that I utilize throughout the account that I pull out quite often. As you can see, I have all my skill capes in order here, and I just like to have those showcased up there in order, and makes it nice and accessible to the account, as fashionscape and skilling outfits is a very crucial part of a level 3 skiller's account. And as far as the skilling outfit goes, I like to have them in a vertical layout so I can just click down the bank tab and pull each one of those out. Now this is going to be quite difficult to do, especially if you are a newer account, because you're not going to have enough things to kind of fill out the bank to actually do a vertical tab like this. But eventually this is what your bank should somewhat look like. Obviously you're going to have your own personal preferences when it comes to any of these tabs, but yeah, I just like to have mine in the vertical layout so I can easily click down the line and grab whatever outfit I need. And that's why I like to keep my graceful on the right side of the bank tab here, because that is the most used skilling outfit on the account by far, so I like to have that one close to the X button in the inventory slot. Moving on to the second tab, this one is going to be a little bit different for you than it will be for me, but I tried to make it as good as possible for every account, level 3. Main reason is because my POH has a lot of jewelry in it that I utilize, so there's not too much jewelry in here. And I also have the skill capes that I can teleport around with. But as you can see, I have all of the tablets up here that you would find yourself utilizing quite often, as well as the main jewelry that you'll teleport around with. Just try to keep it in a row, in a line, so I can quickly, easily access those. Just keep it a little bit more organized. Then I have my Chronicle and my Arty Cloak around here as well. And then I also like to keep my rune crafting, my lava rune crafting items in this tab for some reason, as well as my stamina potions. And I like to keep that on the right-hand side of the bank. That way it's as closest to the inventory as possible, so I can get to it very quickly. And if you would like a guide on that, I'll leave a card in the top right. But yeah, that is the teleportation tab. Again, yours might be a little bit different depending on the type of jewelry you are finding yourself utilizing. Just kind of put it in the same layout that I have it here, and you should be good to go. Moving on to the third tab, this is probably going to be the most organized tab out of your entire bank account, and this is going to be your farming or herb lore tab. As you can see, this is where the plugin item identification comes into a huge role. Normally when you have saplings or herbs, they're very hard, if not impossible, to tell the difference between the two just by looking at it. You would normally have to hover over with your mouse to actually see exactly what seed or sapling it is. But with this, you can clearly see it labels it for you, so you don't have to try to figure out which one is which. You can easily organize the bank. So this is a crucial plugin, and I enjoy this one. It's probably the best plugin that I've had for my bank. So as you can see, I have all of my tree saplings on the left side here, as well as the seeds right next to the saplings, and I also have the payments for the corresponding seeds in the same row. That way I know exactly what payments are for each tree, and it just makes things a whole lot easier. And on the right side here, I also have kind of the same thing going here. Vertically, I have all of the herbs, but horizontally, I have them corresponding with each other. So I have all the renars here, torstals here when it comes to the clean herbs, grimy herbs, and then the seeds. And then it just goes on. Now, this is not every single herb, as a lot of them you don't actually use. So these are the ones I found myself using more often than the others. Again, you can kind of personalize this to however you're trained in herb lore, but this is what I've come up with. Also corresponding with the herbs, I have the potions that you would make with those herbs. So for instance, the renars, I have the secondary ingredient, and then the final overall potion right next to it. That way, every single herb has their ingredients and the final potion next to it, at least the ones that I did. So I only have 4 of them, and these are the 4 main ones that I found myself making. And then I have the vial of waters down at the bottom right there, so I would just click those and then go to whatever herb that I am making. Obviously, this isn't the most efficient way to do herb lore as far as clicking quickly. However, it is still very organized and makes your bank look so much more cleaner. So that's the way I like to have it. If you want it a little bit more efficient, you would try to have everything on the far right hand side, right next to the inventory, or as closest to the inventory layout as you could possibly get. But I like the way this one looks, and I'm pretty proud of figuring this one out and getting some inspiration from other people for this one. But yeah, at the bottom I also have all the tools that you would use for farming, compost, fossils that you would find from Fossil Island, and then I also have my birdhouses and all that stuff down here in the middle, and useful tools that you would normally use for herb lore and farming. Before we move on to the next couple of tags, I'm going to be going over the bank tags plugin that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and this is a very useful tool if you use it correctly. So these are separate tabs from that you would have normally up there horizontally, and these ones are vertically. But these ones are customizable tabs that you can add different things to. So if you click that plus sign up there, it'll add you a new tab or tag, and then you can personalize the tag with a specific item image of that you want, and you can even name it whatever you want as well. So there I just changed it to a rune axe, and if you click on it, it is a separate tab from everything else. But what makes these ones unique over the normal tabs is that you could put specific items from each tab that you already have up there and put it in the tag. That way you have multiple items. So if you've ever found yourself, a perfect example would be if you ever found yourself farming, for instance. As you can see, I have tab 1, tab 2, and tab 3. I have items from 3 different tabs, but they're in one specific tag on the left-hand side. So this is pretty useful for farming. I can put specific farming things from tab 3 that I want into this tag, specific teleportations that go along with farming in here. So this is everything. If I do a farm run right here, this is everything that I grab. Teleports, seeds, saplings, all of that stuff I have specifically in this tag, but they're all different items from different tabs, if that makes sense. So this is really useful if you are creative. I only normally use these for farming or birdhouse runs, but I mean, you can come up with all kinds of stuff and utilize these however you want. All you have to do is make your tag and then drag the items from each tab into the tag there, and it'll add every single item while keeping it in its original tab. And it's just so useful, and I highly recommend you guys use this. I love this. I absolutely love this plugin, and I hope you guys found some use out of this as well. Next up is some more Fashionscape or outfit tabs. Now this is the tab that can get pretty unorganized very easily, so I try to keep this as organized as possible, but these are the other pieces of my outfits that I don't normally use as often as the first tab that I showed you guys. These are just some kind of things that I find myself occasionally grabbing from the bank, so I just keep them in this specific tab and just keep it away from my main Fashionscape that I normally wear. Obviously, some of these outfits, such as the event outfits and stuff, you can store within your POH. However, I just have them sitting here in the bank. And yeah, just some other random stuff that I occasionally equipped. So, like I said, I mean, I try to keep all of my outfits in order with each other. That way, when I am pulling out an outfit, I could just click each specific item from the bank instead of trying to click all over the place looking for the items. So that's why I have the shoes and the gloves next to each other, corresponding with their colors and such. And yeah, that's just how I try to keep my bank organized, and hopefully this helps your bank as well. Here is probably the second most important tab of your bank as a skiller. This is the rest of your skills, such as your gathering skills and your Bibles, separate from farming and herb lore. And I try to keep this one corresponding horizontally rather than vertically like I do my fashion. But I originally recorded this part explaining every single detail throughout this bank tab right here, and it did take quite some time. So instead, I am just going to quickly go over it, and if you guys have any questions, please ask down below. But it's pretty self-explanatory, guys. And again, this is personalized, so obviously some of these resources, such as the adamant bar or the rune bars, those are going to be whatever you have available or whatever your level is that allows you to smith. Obviously, I am a max level 3 skiller, so I utilize adamant bars and runelite bars over anything else. So that is why those are in my bank, but you need to personalize it to yourself. And I try to keep every single skill corresponding with each other. So woodcutting here, mining here, crafting, fishing, all of those, I try to correspond it close together and keep it as neat as possible. So you can have a look at this and adjust it however you want. But again, if you guys have any questions, please do ask down below, as this video is already pretty lengthy and I don't want you guys sitting here all day staring at my bank. And finally, this is going to be the last tab. You might notice there is another one in my bank, however, that is just my personal collection tab. But this one is more or less your junk tab, or just things that you find yourself collecting over time that you don't really have a use for. Such as for mine, for instance, I have the artifacts from Pyramid Plunder, bird eggs from the nests, and just a few other things that you really don't want to get rid of, but at the same time, it makes your bank look ugly. It doesn't really fit anywhere else within the tabs that we previously showed. So this is where those items would go, and it helps keep your bank a little bit more organized. That's it for my bank, guys, and I hope you did learn something from this video or helped create a more organized bank for you guys out there. I really do hope it helped, and thank you guys so much for showing love to my YouTube channel. It means the world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.